This video is for a comedian, stand-up comic person that I've never reacted to before. I don't even think I've heard of this person before. And I think this was recommended to me, but it's been so long ago that I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that it has been. The guy's name is Richard Jeni. Hold on. Well, title's not showing up. Oh, you want to get down, Scooter? Hold on a second. I think my dog wants to get down. No? Okay, sorry. He wanted to get down. Well, he acted like he did, then he didn't. Then I got situated again. Then he really did want to get down. Okay, so here we go. Let's try to pick back up with this. I believe this was recommended a while back because this was way on, like, high on my to watch list, which means it was something I probably put in there like last year. And I don't know what this is about. I don't know this guy's style of comedy, so I'm just kind of jumping into this pretty much blind. Let's go ahead and see what he's like.
Weighs in. Yeah, everybody gets pissed off. Because a lot of people are very extreme, you know? People are very sure about what they believe. You know, they're on the far right or they're on the far left of politics.
All right. Come here, little babies. Scooter, and then you just got down, and now you feel like you just have to get up here. Can you help Chibi? She's kind of like tangled up in the wires. Oh, here she goes. Here she goes. Come here, little baby girl. Oh, my goodness gracious.
I think he might be jealous, though.
He was just up here. Maybe he'll want to go upstairs with you and sit in his little bed.
Not like...
Now I got to reposition everything. Okay. Let's pick back up again with this. All right. He was talking about people on extremes, far left, far right. Okay, here we go.
Far right or they're on the far left of politics. You know, if you're on the far right or the far left, you know what you've done now? You've gone too far.
Right. Too far.
That's where you find the extremist wackos, right out there. Because after that 9/11, I was so mad, I said, that's it. I'm becoming a hardcore, hard-ass, right-wing Republican fucker. So you run all the way over to the far right side, and there they are. There's your right-wing crew, a bunch of money-grubbing, greenhouse gassing, seal clubbing, oil drilling, Bible thumping, missile firing, right to life-in, lethal injecting hypocrites. There they are.
Okay, so hold on. His face. I'm feeling like I might know who he is. So maybe. And I think now a little bit is coming back to me. I thought somebody mentioned that he died, killed himself. And I'm seeing his face, and he reminds me of the guy on The Mask, that movie, The Mask. And I know that he did kill himself, committed suicide, same thing. Now, hold on, bear with me a second. This is going to bug me the whole time. So I'm going to find out if this is the guy that I think it is. Yeah, pretty sure this is him. Yep. Okay, this is him. So I was wrong. I do know of this guy, but the first and only time I think I saw him was in The Mask. And now my memory is getting triggered that it was pointed out to me that this is who this was, or that he had committed suicide, and I looked him up and I'm like, oh, that's that guy in The Mask, and I didn't know he was a stand-up comic. Well, now I do. Okay, sorry about that tangent, but okay, here we go. Pick back up again.
Injecting hypocrites. There they are. There's your crew. There they are. People whose idea of a good time is strapping a dead panda to the front of a Lincoln Navigator and running over everybody in the gay parade. You can't deal with them.
Okay. Did that really happen one time? No.
I'm going over here to the left side to be with all these loony, lefty, liberal people. And there's the crew. A bunch of...
Oh, I hate when the word liberal is mixed up with the left. I know it's because it's kind of considered on the left. the original philosophy or ideology of liberalism is so far removed from what's happening these days. It's such a shame. Okay.
Lefty liberal people. And there's the crew. A bunch of bong smoking, America bashing, flag burning, yoga posing, incense burning, dolphin saving, salmon eating hypocrites. There they are. There's the crew.
Hypocrisy
These are the
bounds on
sensitive
both
liberal people who are always yelling
sides.
about everybody's freedom of speech and expression. Unless you happen to say something that pisses them off.
No, that is true.
Then they can't wait to tie your ass to the back bumper of a Toyota hybrid and drag it to the Berkeley campus.
Okay. This is definitely not
Drop
something.
your carcass in
Okay.
front of the Fidel Castro building for the continuing study of why America sucks. Lunatics. The only place it makes sense to be, I think, is a little more moderate in here, right? The centrist, the middle.
I think most
Like
people
me,
are
yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Bunch of flip-flopping, fence-sitting, half in, half out, half-assed.
Okay, now wait a second. I get the point he's making. The reason a lot of people are in the middle is because there's something from both sides, right? Let me pick back up again with this. We got less than a minute to go. I'll pick back up with that sentiment if I don't forget when this is done. It's almost done.
Half in, half out, half-assed, non-voting so they can bitch no matter who wins. Those are your guys.
Oh, okay.
But the ones that annoy me slightly more than all the rest of us are the trillionaire, bleeding heart liberals. People who are going to change the world if they have to spend every buck of your money to do it. The limousine liberal people. People living in a mansion that's got 20 rooms that nobody's in, they're air conditioned. Got a pool that nobody goes in, it's heated. Flying across the country on a 20-person jet all by themselves because they don't want to be late for a speech about energy conservation.
Right.
Get off. Get off, you sucker.
It's just about done. Okay, it's done. It's done. Okay, he made some excellent points. I like where this guy's mind is at. Well, I like where his mind was at with regard to this. The poor fellow obviously was dealing with some stuff that he couldn't deal with, and tragically he took his own life. I had heard about it when it happened, and they made reference to him that he'd been in the Mask movie. So now, when I watch The Mask, it makes me a little sad because I know what happened with him. But anyway, okay, I'm going to try to remember. There were 2 points I'm thinking of. He's criticizing all sides. I get it. Making all these generalizations. There are some people on the right who like yoga, and there's some people on the left who do not support abortion. But he's making these generalizations because that's kind of, generally that's the way things are with a lot of these people that he's talking about. So he's talking about the people on the middle, about them being flip-flopping. It can seem like people on the middle are because, but okay. The thing about the middle, or I also look at things like libertarianism, classical liberalism, that like people like that, a lot of that ideology or way of thinking to me seems to be kind of in the middle, because it's almost like it takes the best elements from both sides and combines them into something that is what a lot of people tend to agree with. So people on the middle, they might be criticized because they're not taking a hard stand or a firm stand on whatever, but they see elements on the left and they see elements on the right that they can get behind and support. And so that's why they, and they're not tied strongly to one side or the other. To me, I think people like that in general are the ones that maybe won't be as easily swayed by tribalistic thinking, like a lot of people in the right and a lot of people in the left, those Kants can be. For sure, it happens because that's just the way people are. Something else I was going to mention when he was talking about the rich billionaires or whatever that are willing to spend your money to fight these causes that they get behind. He makes an excellent point there, because if you've noticed, we've got all these elite people, and here's the thing. I have really no issue at all with the rich people. I know rich people are demonized, villainized. They're accused many times of not paying their fair share when they pay well more than their fair share. They carry the main burden for taxes in this country, probably in almost any country. That's the way it is. But, you know, and yet more and more and more people are wanting to take things from them. I think a lot of that is rooted in envy, honestly. There's only so much you can take from these people. And even if you took everything, it's not going to solve all of the problems. It's not going to fulfill all of the spending that politicians want to do. So in my mind, in my opinion, if there's a villain at all or a bad guy at all to be found in these different groups of people, it's the politicians, because the politicians are the ones that write the laws that affect everybody else. And the politicians are the ones that allow themselves to be bought off by rich people to do what the rich people want, or you know, to make laws that are favor them. You know, this is the general narrative, you know. So people, instead of focusing energy on the people that are actually writing the laws themselves and passing the laws themselves, the focus is misdirected to, let's say, the people who are buying them off. But those people aren't the problem. The people that are the problem, in my opinion, are the people that are being bought off and that are writing laws to protect certain segments of the population from things that normal people can't get away with. So in my mind, the numero uno problem is going to be always the politicians. That's just kind of like what I've figured out through the years. And it bugs me. But the point he's making about them spending other people's, politicians do that. You know, they go and they preach at the rest of us about how we should do things and the way we should think, while they're spending other people's money to do things that they themselves don't even follow through with. I mean, hypocrisy abounds with politicians. It's just nauseating. But also with the rich people that he's talking about. And I'm thinking of, you know, celebs or rich sports people or whatever that get on their high horse about the way people should behave or the way they should think, while they are doing the exact opposite of what they say. And so let's think of, like, let's say celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio or whoever. He's one that comes to mind, preaching about energy and climate change and all that stuff, while he's trotting around with his own private jet or whatever. I mean, if he's not specifically the one I'm referring to, there are people who have done that. There are people who feel like they can tell other people, like, it's basically do as I say, not as I do. And they're just flaming hypocrites. And I have no respect for their message when they act that way. Because I'm like, you don't even take it seriously if you're going to behave in the complete opposite direction, or the complete opposite, if you're going to behave completely opposite of what you're telling everybody else they should do. So, but the underlying theme of his message here is hypocrisy, because it's just, you know, hypocrisy abounds in people in general, because it's easy to fall into that type of mindset. But I like that, you know, when it's pointed out and maybe people can kind of step back and think about what they're doing. Not always. Politicians very rarely do. If you haven't noticed, you know, like, okay, so in the issue with the mask stuff and how the politicians are shaking their finger at people, telling them they need to mask up and do this. And meanwhile, when the cameras are off, they have their mask off and they're congregating, like Nancy Pelosi going to get her hair done when salons had been closed down, because, you know, the regular people can't go and do that. They can't, but she can. That's okay. You know, that sort of stuff just gets on my nerves. It just bugs the hell out of me. I think it bothers most people too. But the point I was getting ready to make is that, you know, instead of actually owning up to stuff like that, a lot of times they make excuses for themselves, or they act like, hold on, or they act like, it wasn't their fault, or, and I think in her case, she acted like she'd been entrapped into it. It was just ridiculous. But these are the things that all came to my mind when he was talking about this stuff. And dang, so I wonder if there's any more stuff of his to check out, because I'm curious to see what other type of comedy he has done. I had no clue, like I said, that he was a stand-up comedian. But I wouldn't mind watching some of his other stuff. I can always do a search myself and see what else he's got. Or if you guys know of any off the top of your head that you think would be a good place to start. Well, I mean, I started with this, but a good place to go. A good, like, bit or whatever. So anyway, well, I feel like this video kind of, or my rambling kind of just went all over the place, but I'll have to admit, I'm not feeling quite there. And a lot of that is because the overnight shifts at the clinic and my sleep pattern's all off. And I've got only 2 more nights I think I have to, tonight and Tuesday. Tonight's Sunday and Tuesday. And then this particular study is done, and I don't think I'll be called again anytime soon unless they do some other study where they need something like that. But anyway, that's a tangent. The point is, I'm feeling like I'm not firing on all cylinders. So I hope I made a little bit of sense in my ranting and ravings, but I am curious to check out more of his stuff. So I'll do that at some point. Okay, guys, I guess that's it. I've got at least one more I wanted to try to check out, and so I'm going to try to do that now. Later.